Hey everybody, Mr. Holmes here. Going to talk to you about the abstract continuum. So this is going to help you with your project for the week, all right? So here we go. What is the abstract continuum? Yes, there are two U's in continuum first off, all right? So here it is. This is what the abstract continuum looks like. It's like a number line, right? On one side, we have realistic art or realism. In the middle, we have abstract, and then on the opposite side, we're talking about non-objective. Now, abstract art often gets confused with non-objective art, but that's not the case. Let's go ahead and show you why those are different. Realistic or realism art looks natural, lifelike. It's going to look an awful lot like what it's supposed to be, right? Hey, that looks like a woman standing in a field because it probably was, right? Beautiful portraits of actual life events illustrated and painted in ways that make it look realistic. Next on the abstract continuum is the abstract itself. This is kind of where we're going to be focusing today, all right? So abstract art, it's changed to create more interest in it in itself. You're going to distort parts of the image. You're going to exaggerate some features, or you might simplify what you're looking at. But the important thing about abstract is that we can still tell what it is. So even though this face is abstracted away, we can still tell it's a woman's face looking at us. Same with this image. We know those are humans walking down a street with construction in the back. Yes, it's not realistic. People don't actually look quite like that, right? But it is definitely an image we can observe. We know what it is. It's just exaggerated or simplified. And lastly, this is the most extreme example of abstract art I'm going to talk to you about right now. We can still semi tell what it is. It's a humanoid form, right? It's human of some kind. It's extremely simplified. So this might be what the abstract art we're more used to seeing is. Now, non-objective. Non-objective art is not easily recognizable. It does not represent anything. It's purely decorative or symbolic. Like there's no image the artist is trying to get across in that non-objective art. Right? Same here. It could be just a painting with swaths of value of color just thrown about or in lines and parallels. Again, they're not trying to get across a landscape here or something. It's just colors and values on a canvas. There's no discernible image in any of his pieces. So this is the big difference between abstract and non-objective art. Abstract art, artists are still trying to perceive or tell you about an image or a message. And non-objective, it's colors and lines. So for the project, for step one, I want you to take 45 minutes and create a still life using 5 objects from your house, from your room, wherever you are. Com- compose those 5 objects into an interesting way if you can, and go ahead and take 45 minutes to draw it as realistic as possible. This is going to be our realism attempt. And if you're like, oh man, it's going to be hard, it's okay. It is hard. It's totally fine. So take your time with it. Give it a good shot. Spend at least 45 minutes to go ahead and create your first step one, your still life. Now, step two, we're going to slightly abstract them, distort the images a little bit, but we should still be able to recognize the objects, right? You can try flattening them by taking out some of the values. You can distort or enlarge parts of the object to make more emphasis on one part or another of it. The lines and the values are going to be stronger when you're doing this. Again, spend about 45 minutes on this slightly abstracted image. And then the final thing you're doing for this week, it will be step 3, which is way more abstract, all right? You're taking what you did in step 2 and you're exemplifying it. Enlarge it more, distort more things. Objects are starting to become less and less recognizable. Think about adding lines that cut across the entire canvas, the entire paper here, to kind of break up the negative space in the background. We can still tell this is a flower. Beyond that, everything else is kind of flattened out to the extent that I can barely tell what we're looking at here. All right. I'm going to give you 2 more examples. So here's someone else's step 1. This is the realistic one. This is the realism. Now it's an unfinished drawing because they did their 45 minutes and this is as far as they got. So it's okay. But you can tell this is realistic. You can tell it's a saw, perhaps, right? A jaw of some kind. We see teeth in the lower left. And then they're going to go ahead and do step two, spend 45 minutes and abstract it out. They elongated this jaw. Uh, the saw in the background got way bigger, right? And the values got stronger. Step three, even more abstract. Look how they carried these lines. They carried them over images. Things were starting to flatten on top of each other, but in a way that you can still see what's behind it. So kind of a creative way to flatten your image here. Lastly, here is the still life. They tried their best, creating a real image here. All right, now here it is a little abstracted. Things got a little fatter, got a little wider. Some pieces got cut off, right? And then lastly, the most abstract of it. It's kind of just shapes, right? And it's getting semi unrecognizable. We can still sort of tell what we're looking at if we have it in context. All right, everybody, that's what we're doing this week. If you have any questions, I'll see you in class, or feel free to message me on Schoology or shoot me an email, all right? Talk to you soon.